Hey everybody, it's Maria, and I thought I would do a video today talking about life this week. I know a lot of you are doing Booktubeathon, and I'm super pumped that you're all enjoying it. I am participating, even though I'm not doing like daily videos or anything, and I didn't do a TBR because I decided last minute that I was going to do it, which I'll explain in a minute. It's just been a really weird week that's going to get weirder. Before we go on vacation next week, at least I'm going with my kids up to see some family. My husband actually left today, so we'll kind of cross paths but not connect. So it's already like a 2-week period where I don't get my favorite person in the universe. Last week our fridge died, so that's a thing. And then on Tuesday, I guess it's been 2 days, we had to put our oldest dog down. Not the pug that I had a couple of videos ago, but my older dog. He was a mix between a beagle and a Pomeranian. His name is Buddy, and I don't know, we've had him since we've been married a year, so he was going to be 12 next year, because he was already a year old when we got him. So I'm just spent emotionally. We had a nice service with the kids, and they're pretty comfortable talking about death, so that's good, because they've been exposed to it, I guess, and we've talked about it before. But he's been a part of their life, their whole life. And he was my dog before they were my kids. So even though he drove me crazy, and he was always getting on the table and stealing food, always, up until his health really declined from Friday to Monday, just really went down quickly. We weren't expecting it so fast. Although I guess I probably should have, because he was ornery up until that. So, yeah, I don't want to burden you guys with the details. This is already the most depressing video, and I'm really sorry. Anyway, it was a rough week. So I'm really excited to have Booktubeathon as kind of a project to do. I'm also going to be doing a lot of crafting, I think, this weekend, because I need to spend some emotional energy that way. So I might actually even take some of my favorite books from the year and do some crafts on it, which will be good. I need to get some color on a page. Anyway, if you are still watching and not bawling your eyes out, congrats to you. You're doing better than me. So what I've already read this week has actually been pretty good. I read this. This was a very short read. I guess I did do it in a day, so I guess I fulfilled that challenge. But it also has the person on the cover. It's Growing Up by Mayim Blayik. She plays Amy Farrah Fowler. I can't talk today, on Big Bang Theory, and she was also Blossom. She was a neuroscientist between acting careers, and so it's just kind of a cool. It's definitely not an adult read. I got it because I wanted to read it before I purchased it for my preteen niece. If you're watching, I'll probably get this for you. Anyway, it's just really basics on how your body changes, how your emotional life might be. It's very progressive. It does talk about relationships a little bit more than some of the other preteen books I liked. I liked how she talks about having respect for people and commanding it for yourself. I like how she talked about finding things that you're passionate about. It's very much about the whole person. So if you have a preteen girl especially, they do cover boys in here too, just so they kind of know what's going on. But I really liked this book. I wish I would have had it when I was younger. Next up is So You've Been Publicly Shamed, which I guess has a person on the cover, but this is my hyped book. It's by Ronson, and this one I've seen everywhere, and it took me forever to pick it up. Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it. I guess I'll probably do that in my wrap-up video, but So You've Been Publicly Shamed, definitely food for thought. We are all living in an era where it's very easy to be mean and criticize people in the click of a button. And he talks about how we have taken that flogging and the guillotine and the public hangings and stonings and all that, and we have changed it to make it impersonal, and which is almost worse. What is worse? So especially with the political WTF that's going on right now, this is a really good one to read, because it reminds you that while you might say one comment that takes you all of 10 seconds and you never think about it again, it might impact people for the entire rest of their lives. So I think that's a really, really important book to read. Next up is the book that I bought for the cover, and as you guys know, I've been reading John Steinbeck this year. This is the copy of The Red Pony that I got when I was in New York City. It has just the most beautiful illustrations in here. I mean, just gorgeous. I'm going to show you this one. And I read The Red Pony in middle school. I didn't remember a lick of it other than that an animal died at some point, which was kind of a given because it's a Steinbeck book. Somebody always dies. And I actually got to read this before our dog passed, which is probably a good thing because it reminded me about how important that last caregiving aspect is for animals and how they go out being really important. So that was, it was just a really nice book. I read it, I think, in 2 sittings, not 1 sitting, but it was easily readable in 1 sitting. I just started it really late at night. So there's that. And I read this one. This is the one I read. I'm going to say I read it outside because I read most of it outside. It is Audobon, On the Wings of the World by Fabien, Grolleau, yeah, and Jeremy Royer. My French is rusty, sorry. It is a graphic biography of John Audubon. And I mean, other than knowing that he liked birds and that he was, I guess it was 1820. Most of the book happened around kind of that 1800 to 1840 time frame. And it talks about his adult life. I like that it has a little bit of whimsy, mystical in it. He did have some interesting ideas, especially for his time frame. It talks about his family life and how much they were affected by him being gone. It talks about his drive. I did not know so much about John Audubon. And I like that it covers just both the good and the bad. Like, you see his passion and his drive and his meticulous desire to really chronicle the lives of all these birds and to capture their majesty on paper. Yet at the same time, it kind of reminded me slightly of Frankenstein because of the way he viewed death and how he kind of wanted to master it. And so when he did a lot of hunting, a lot of animal rights people, while they might be happy with his research, would not be happy with his methods. He did a lot of needless killing because he kept trying to perfect things. And then he would kind of like sew them up and, kind of like you're doing the stuffing of the animals. Why can I not remember the word for it? My brain. Taxidermy. So he'd kind of do that so he could paint them better. But he did a lot more hunting than he probably needed to. The part I really wanted to share with you is kind of shows just the lack of understanding between white people and the natives that lived in America at the time. It's right after a buffalo hunt or a bison hunt that they had like slaughtered all these bison, and then there were some bison that actually had been trying to escape that ended up having to go to the river, and they died in the river. And so it was just like you kind of see as a person now thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe they killed all of those animals for nothing and then just left their meat to waste away. And it says, I'm always saddened to encounter bands of indigenous people reduced to filthy beggars. They have no regard for the freshness of the meat they eat and are happy to consume flesh that's been rotting for days. Those poor people inspire deep pity in me. Descended from a line of proud and free-born hunters as you are, I wish I could restore your natural rights. Shh, okay, I'll be right there. Your love of independence, the generous nature that once animated your noble breast. And it just shows, like, because now as a person, like, they didn't want to waste the meat. And they were respecting the animal as opposed to what the white people had just done to the animals. So it's just very interesting because back then, there's just no understanding, and we didn't have those, like, you couldn't see other than your worldview. So these Native Americans were probably just horrified that this spirit was taken for no reason, while the white people couldn't understand why they were eating meat that had been out for a few days, spoiling. And it was just showed me such a clash of understandings and why it's important to understand other people and other cultures. Other books that I have started that I have not finished. Well, I've been working on this one. The second Outlander. Oops, sorry. Wait 1 second. Okay, thank you. Dragonfly and Amber, it's a good one. I'm enjoying it, but it's a fat one, so it's taking me a little bit longer. I started slightly, Guns, Germs, and Steel, which if you are interested in reading long, add me on Voxer, and I would love to do that, or send me a message and I'll add you on Voxer, because I will probably be starting to discuss it a little bit more next week or the week after, when my brain and emotions are healed, because right now I'm just a mess. Heretics, this is The Wondrous and Dangerous Beginnings of Modern Philosophy, and it's just a graphic history. I love these, especially for Booktubeathons or readathons, because they go fast and they're pretty and very informative. And then while my husband is gone, I got a Hulu subscription, and I'm going to be binging Handmaid's Tale. So I also picked up the book from the library. I need to purchase a copy of this for myself at some point, but I've not done that yet. So I just got it from the library. So that's kind of what I'll be working on. I might be picking up some other ones that I'm halfway through. My goal this week is just to keep it together and be a good mom and keep it together. So I've been doing a lot of cleaning. I do that when I feel out of control. And yeah, I'm ready for a different week, a different month. So anyway, if you're a praying, sending good love to people in the universe person, I would love it. I really need it. And I promise you that my next video will be a lot peppier, but life. So I will talk to y'all later.